Well, the federal government shutdown is coming up on its third week, and since then, many federal employees have gone without pay. National outlets are reporting that some layoffs have begun in federal agencies, and the next congressional session in D.C. is set for Tuesday. Now we're joined by Congressman Jeff Hurd, who represents the western slope of Colorado all the way to Pueblo. Congressman Hurd, thank you for joining us this evening.
Michael, happy to be with you.
Well, Congressman, we'll get things started. You know, Colorado is home to a lot of federal employees and military families. What is the latest update on negotiations to end the government shutdown?
Well, it's not exactly clear what's happening right now. The Democrats in the Senate need to do their job, Michael. Several weeks ago, House Republicans got the budget passed. We got a continuing resolution through to keep the government open. The ball's now in the Senate's court. They need to do their job, pass the legislation so that we can get the government back open, get our troops paid, get our federal workers paid, make sure that we're taking care of women, infant, and children. All that's not happening right now. We're waiting for the Senate to simply pass the continuing resolution.
Yeah, and Congressman, Democratic leaders are saying that they want more permanent extensions to the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which help keep health care costs down for millions of Americans. I know you campaigned on lowering costs for Coloradans. I'm sure many of your colleagues did as well for their portions of the countries. So where exactly, from your point of view, is this disconnect that's leading to the shutdown?
Well, I'm happy to talk about this, Michael. It's an important issue in my district and across the state, keeping those health insurance premiums low. But we need to have that conversation in the context of a government that's open. Right now, the government is shut down. It's not right for Democrats in the Senate to hold federal pay hostage, to hold the pay for our troops hostage over this issue. I'm willing to discuss it. I'm a co-sponsor on legislation that would extend those tax credits, but we need to do it in the context of a government that's open. The Senate needs to do its job. And pass a continuing resolution that opens up the government again. Once we do that, I'm happy to have those discussions.
And Congressman, now I'm sure many Americans are tired of, what I would call mudslinging, right? Republicans blaming Democrats and vice versa. It seems like that's going on a lot here. I do know Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. At what point does a deal get done here? It seems like there is some agreement, like you said. You sponsor a lot of legislation that would lower these healthcare costs, and Democrats say they want to keep these healthcare costs low. At what point does a deal get done?
Well, we need to get a deal done. Here's the thing. Republicans do control the House and the Senate, but in the Senate, there's a filibuster which requires 60 votes in order to keep the government open. That means 7 Democratic senators need to join the House of Representatives in what we've already done and pass a simple bill that will keep the government open. We've already done that in the House. The legislation that we passed is a simple, clean, continuing resolution. It doesn't have any partisan bells or whistles, no poison pills. It's a budget that the Democrats have already agreed to in the past. We're simply asking that they extend it once again so we can finish our job in the House of Representatives when it comes to the regular budgeting process. Once we do that, the government's back open. And then we can talk about all these other important issues like healthcare, like lowering the cost of prescription drugs, like doing everything that we had promised that we would do for the people of rural Colorado.
Congressman, is anyone, do you think, is going to cross the aisle here? Because it seems like this impasse, it's been going on for a while now, and it's tough to say how much longer it's going on. Is there any signaling from Republicans that they are willing to cross the aisle? And I just want to, Michael, I don't want to frame it like I'm saying this is Republicans at fault. I'm just asking you because you are a Republican.
Sure. No, I get it. Listen, there's nothing to negotiate. Republicans didn't include any special asks or policy requests in the continuing resolution that would keep the government open. There's nothing for us to give on. We haven't added anything special. We haven't proposed any new policy additions. There's nothing for us to negotiate on. The Democrats in the Senate simply need to pass the bill that we passed. It's no partisan riders, no tricks, no poison pills, nothing. They just simply need to reopen the government by passing legislation that they've already passed in the past multiple times. They need to do that, get the government back open again, and then we need to talk about these important issues that matter to folks in Colorado. I'm committed to that. Like I said, I'm not just willing to talk it, but I'm already on legislation that would extend those enhanced premium tax credits. But it's not right to hold these things hostage, to hold pay for troops hostage, to hold federal worker pay hostage in order to extract these policy concessions. That's government by crisis. It's not good public policy. Democrats simply need to do their job, pass the bill that would reopen our government, and then we'll get back to the important work on behalf of the people here in Colorado.
All right, well, Congressman, I really appreciate your time this evening, and have a good rest of your night.
Thanks very much, Michael. Happy to join you.
Yeah.